Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having just as good a day as I'm having right now. Physically, man, we're having some good days. I'm not gonna lie. Those pause squats are always hard, especially when I'm hitting those pause reps where I'm counting to 2 at the bottom instead of hitting that little bounce and then going back up. And the pause snatches were definitely there. I don't think I was as focused as I could have been, but I'm proud of the effort. And unfortunately, this is like the first day in so long that I forgot to wear compression underwear. If you've been there, you've been there. But I 100% clipped myself right on the last set, which was not optimal. But, I failed one because of the mishap, and I was like, fuck it, I'm committing, and I hit it. So, just like I hit the weights, I hit myself in the cock, but that's just, it's just unfortunate. But regardless of all that, there was an extremely good effort. My core feels extremely solid. My shoulder was hurting about a week ago, and now it's feeling really mobile and good. So I'll put it at solid 8.5, maybe 8.6. I like that a little more, just right over that cusp of a 5. But otherwise, mentally, I'm on the grind. I've been meeting more people, loving hanging out with the homies, just enjoying hanging out and doing my thing and not trying to worry too much. I've been really ahead of my daily schedule and just putting in the work that I got to put in before I allow myself the time to really kind of just sit down and not worry. This is why I have the gym at the end of my day. I like having everything finished up so that I can just go talk to people, lift my lifts without feeling rushed or the world's trying to come after me while I'm just trying to get a solid fucking workout in. And, it makes the day feel great. So mentally, we'll put it at a 9. I'm feeling great today. There were no mishaps. I wasn't worried about any of the weights. Sometimes, a lot of the times when I'm hitting that last set of that fifth set of a hard grind weight, I'll let my soul out a little bit. I'll let not purposefully letting the grunt out, but when you're grinding out some pause squats, that's pretty fucking heavy. All the air in your abdomen is going to leave you at one point when your core breaks. So a lot of times it'll break right on that last one because I've trial and errored so much to know that that's my limit. And I didn't even get to that point today. Everything felt fucking phenomenal, and I was just throwing shit to throw shit. Just otherwise, I guess we could talk about the squat a little bit. One thing, I mentioned it before, people like to go into a pause squat day, but then give themselves the availability to have a little bounce at the bottom. And, everybody should train the way that they have fun with and whatever, and doing what keeps them coming back to the gym. But if you're going to hit a pause rep and then it's, I don't care how much you want to brag or boast about your awesome epic lifts, but I want certain people to be at least aware that it's not the purpose of a pause squat when you give yourself that little bit of, again, if you know but you go down and your core's not strong enough to hold it without you freaking out about the heavy ass weight on your neck. And so you'll give yourself that little bounce and be like, oh, well, I'm down here longer than I normally am, and you'll just go back up. The whole point to me of a pause squat rep is to go down and be completely immobile for at least a second in the deepest part of the squat that you are going in your current training. Just like on a pause bench press, you can't bounce it. It's literally going to make it easier for you. That's the whole point of fully stopping the momentum. It's kind of similar to when I used to train block snatches or block cleans. There's what am I fucking saying? There's no time to really think about it, so you just you gotta lock in the core as tight as you can, because if you don't, it's just gonna fall off, or you're not gonna be able to lock it out right when you need it to. So I think that, again, if you're training ollie lifts, the best thing you can do to really get that core confidence, I like to call it, is make sure you can fully brace your core and your hips. The legs are kind of a given. I feel like most people don't have an issue with that, but the legs as well. Make sure everything can be fully braced. the exact same intensity from when you start the squat all the way until you hit ass to grass. And then when you come out, that'll be the test of how hard you can hold your core and everything else. But I find that you just kind of how when you have a solid vertical pull on any Olympic lift, if you have if you have really good form and really good balance, just pulling the weight upward, you're probably going to land in the perfect spot that you want to, you know? So, you know, same thing with the squat. If you land in your ass to grass or your 90 degree or whatever position you squat in with as tight as a core and hips and legs that you started with, then you're probably going to come up with twice as much power as you think you might have in you. But with the pause snatches, something that I always hate that, you know, it's just a matter of Olympic lifting, and this is why I do my power lifts before my Olympic lifts on certain days for the conditioning. When I get underneath it, especially on that first working set, your joints are gonna feel it. You know, people. I do agree with the stigma of saying that you don't really need to do a full body stretch for Olympic lifting. You just need to get mobile enough to complete the lift, and once you have that key mobility, you can warm up pretty much the same by just doing the full lift on its own afterward. And that first working set, it feels like your wrist is gonna explode sometimes. You know, not every day. You know, it's not like I'm saying it's a bad habit or anything, but sometimes I'm just a little too relaxed, and it's always fun and good to walk around and enjoy yourself in the gym, but like shit, sometimes you gotta remember to stay locked in, because I get under that weight and it lands on my hands, and it is a scary feeling when you do not have that shit like dialed in right when you need it to. I think the last time on a snatch where I really did not lock in before doing a working set, went up to like 205 for what was supposed to be like not too hard of sets, and first rep in, I just pulled, didn't think about it, dived underneath it, and I didn't have that full focus to lock it out. And man, when I tell you, when I hit the bottom of that snatch, I immediately dropped the weight. It felt like a cinder block had been dropped on my wrist and on my palm. And like to this day, my left hand has been slightly pulled. And again, it was just something that I had to get the increased mobility for, because I fucked up, and that was my B, and it's probably permanent. But you know, my form's still good. I don't feel pain. Everything feels where it's supposed to. So that's what's important. I do not like it when people always end up trying to go super hard after they think they fucked up the lift. You just make sure you have the mobility and the confidence to actually throw yourself underneath at lightning speed before you attempt those working sets again, because you know that's just how you lead to losing your hand. But you know, another thing I can bring up is something that I have been having so much fun with as of late is when I get to meet a new gym homie. It is like, it's kind of like when you get to tell someone who's younger than you, like specifically like a high school kid or a middle school kid, some sort of advice, and then they like latch on to you because of it. Whenever I give that like little bit of like, what is it? Like that little bit of support without any expectation, that unconditional support that they probably didn't get in their day that day, they're like, oh man, who the fuck are you and why aren't we gym homies already, you know? And it's such a fun feeling when you get to really find someone that can like not only fuck with what you're doing and the way that you're wanting to do them, but just enjoy and appreciate that little bit of kindness that I don't think gets spread enough in today's world. But you know, otherwise, you know, this is a little new for me. I talked about it yesterday. I'm trying to get into these without really having a specific topic in mind or something to get really deep about. I just kind of want to express what I'm grateful for. So it may take me a second, but you know, we'll get into a good groove of being able to just kind of spew some shit without having to pause or come up with excuses on why I'm not talking about things like right now. But I really have been enjoying this mentality of video, lifting, like all the passion shit. It's fun. So, regardless of that, I appreciate any support that's given. Like, it's always, I'm never dependent on someone else's support, but god damn it, I'm always telling you that little bit of support can just make someone's day, and I am no goddamn exception. But otherwise, I know I just talked about peak week yesterday, about how it's coming up in a couple of days. Turns out I'm going to Alabama now because, your boy gets lonely sometimes. I want to go see the girlfriend and hang out for like a week or so and just get my time in with her before I start working in the job. But I feel that I've found someone that everybody's got this kind of person, or they at least, everybody, as long as you stay consistent and try to be passionate throughout your life about the things you do, I think everybody comes to find that person in your life, where not even just like your relationship person, but just any sort of good friend, or even if there's someone in the family, someone that you can just really open up to, or just spew on about all this dumb rant shit for hours. They're not going to listen to any of it, but it's always extremely reassuring to know that you have someone that will listen to you, I guess. So I'm going to just go fuck around, find out. We're going to be doing peak week at a crunch now, which is fucking terrifying. So, I'm going to have to feel that out, but I'm going to just go into it with the mentality that I always go into it with, where the slight difference in equipment is not going to be what causes me to succeed or fail. My technique, my discipline, my passion, my drive, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that thing that keeps me going and keeps me passionate about all the shit I do, that will be what gets me through the lifts. So, I might have a little bit of a wonky warm-up set, but god damn it, we are going to be throwing 240 on Snatch for singles on Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's right, which is, again, fucking terrifying. I am it's in a good way. It's one of those things where the closer it gets, the more nervous I may become, but more than that, I'm excited. I've gotten to a point where I don't care if I fail. I care if I put in the maximum effort I can in that day, in that workout, and whatever results come after that, that's what I like to see. Again, that's not what decides who I am or whether or not I succeeded or not based off the numbers. It's just knowing that I put in what I had in that day and really enjoyed myself on top of that. So it may be frustrating if I miss a lift or two, and if I do, then next month we'll just stick at the same weights and make sure that we fucking crush it. But main thing, take that shit with a grain of salt, I guess. Just kind of wrap it up. This is just mainly me spewing a little bit, but I love expressing the way I feel about this shit, because I think more people are thinking about it than they're letting out. And so it's really cool to see similar mindsets come together in these types of videos, where you just hear that one thing and you're just like, oh, I was just thinking that, but I didn't know who to tell it to, because I don't know anybody who might agree with me. But that's just, I've been feeling great, doing great, and I'm just going to keep trying to do my best. So we've been grinding out. Instead of ramen, I decided to start eating stir-fry noodles. I just found them at Publix, because it's like just slightly less calories, but I mainly care about how the processedness of that food destroys my stomach. So I've been feeling a lot better lately, and we are currently down from 218 to 206 pounds body weight, which is pretty fucking insane. I have never seen my stomach flatten out, and it's starting to do that in the mornings, and I'm kind of looking at myself a different kind of way now. A little bit of ego can be good. Too much is a little bit, it's just enough to where it just boosts your confidence without putting other people down. That's all it is. So if you got some ego in you, but it's just personal and you're just enjoying yourself, fucking run with it. That's the shit that'll keep your passion going. But otherwise, tomorrow we got pause bench and pause clean and jerk, and peak week is coming soon. So, let me know how you're all doing, and I'll be back. See ya.